are learning together Chumash and Rashi, a Torah portion. We're in Bamidbar, the fourth book, chapter 3, verse number 1. Oh. Okay. So there's a sikha on this verse over here that I just learned yesterday with my son Yosef, which, okay. Bela told us Aaron, Moshe, and these are the descendants of Aaron and Moshe. B'yoim diber, on the day that spoke Hashem, that Hashem spoke as Moshe to Moshe, Bahar Sinai at Har Sinai. Anything bothering you over here in this verse? No? Okay, let's see if Rashi is bothering him. Vela told us Aaron and Moshe, these are the offspring of Aaron and Moshe in Amaskeh b'nei Aaron, and yet it only mentions the offspring of the sons of Aaron. Doesn't mention the offspring of Moshe here, as we will see. Okay, only Aaron's offspring. Why? So then, why are they called the offspring of Aaron and Moshe? And Nikra told us Moshe, and yet they're called the offspring of Moshe. The reason is because he taught them Torah. Malamed, this teaches us. Shkola Malamed is ben Chaver Torah. Whoever teaches his friend's son Torah, Mala Alava Kosuv. Torah considers it Kila Yolda, as if you fathered that person. Got it? Shimelev, you followed that?
Listen to your father. Listen to your father. He didn't hear that, huh?
He didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that. Next, Rashi, B'yom diber Hashem is Moshe. On the day that Hashem spoke to Moshe, Nasa Elah told us Shaloi, the sons of Aaron became Moshe's offspring, Shalim Damde, because he taught them Mashalamad, what he learned, Mipi Agvura, from the mouth of the Almighty. Lots of questions over here, folks, on this Chumash, on this Rashi over here. But we're not going to go into that now. If we have time, we'll go into it later.
We're on time now?
No, because we got to first finish Chumash and Rashi, and then we could go into deeper.
Okay.
And these are the names of the children of Aaron, the sons of Aaron. Habachor, Nadav, Avihu, Elazar, Samar. Firstborn is Nadav, then Avihu, then Elazar, then Isamar, the four sons. And these are the names of the sons of Aaron, HaKohanim, that are Kohanim, HaMeshuchim, that have been anointed, that they were consecrated to serve as Kohanim. Mila Yadam literally means filled their hands, which means consecrated to serve. Okay? Yamas Nadav Avihu, and they died, Nadav and Avihu lifnei Hashem, before God, B'akrivam, when they brought a zara, a strange or alien fire, right? Lifnei Hashem, before God. Bamidbar Sinai, in the desert Sinai, Vanim lo yayu lahem, and children they did not have. They didn't have children.
Do you think that means that they brought an alien fire? Like, what does that mean?
Because they weren't supposed to do it.
So what is the alien fire have to do?
Alien service, an alien service to them, bringing the fire. They brought a fire pan with incense into the holy.
Maybe they brought a type of fire that was not acceptable or something.
It was not acceptable because they were not acceptable to do that. It was not their job, their place to do that. So it was the fire that they brought, the offering that they brought was alien.
But if they had brought an acceptable fire, they still would have had the same consequence.
Because it wasn't acceptable any fire.
Right. I don't understand how that leaves it open to a lot of interpretation.
First of all, it's a term that it's been used before. We had that in Parsha Shmini also. right? We had that when the story occurred. So it's not the first time. And Rashi explains an alien service. The service of bringing the fire was alien to them. Alien meaning that it's not their place. So it's when it's not your place to do something, that means it's alien to you. What's for you and meant for you is yours, and what's not is alien to you. That's the terminology.
What,
Okay.
what the service produced, that fire was
Okay.
was wrong.
So
Yeah, that's it.
So they zara lifnei Hashem that they brought before Hashem, Bamidbar Sinai in the Sinai desert. Banim lo yulahem. They did not have children. V'yichayin Elazar v'Elazar al pnei Aaron avihem, and Elazar and Isamar served as kohanim in the presence of Aaron their father. Rashi al pnei Aaron. What does it mean on the presence of Aaron? B'chaya means during his lifetime. I don't know what the verse means to come to say by that. I mean, Nadav and Avihu were also Kohanim. Oh, I guess Nadav and Avihu, in a sense, were not Kohanim in the lifetime of Aaron, because that was the day of inauguration that they died. So in that sense, they never got to do the service and to do something in the lifetime of Aaron. Only Elazar and Isamar, they got to do it. Right? Okay, now I understand. Got it?
Yeah.
Verse number 5. Yidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, and Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, Hakriv mata Levi, bring forth, bring close the Mata Levi, the tribe of Levi, and you shall make him stand lifnei Aaron, before Aaron, meaning bring to the presence of Aaron, HaKoyin, the Koyin, and they should serve him, that they may serve him. Rashi, in order that they should serve him. So Rashi asks, what's the service? Neshama is mishmarte, that they should safeguard his charge. Because the guarding of the sanctuary is a duty that falls upon Aaron. That no alien, meaning someone who's a non-Kayin, should approach. Huh?
First one to circle the.
Yeah. As it says, Ata ubanecha v'beis itach. Hashem said to Aaron that you and your sons and your father's house with you, Tisu is the Ava and Hamikdash, shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. And these Levites, Messiah Moisam, would assist the Kohanim in this task, Zuhi Asherus, and that's their service. Interesting. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Good question. So it seems that at this point, what we understand in Chumash, the job of the Levites, as you know, that's a biblical job, is not about singing and not about that at all. It's only about safeguarding. And like you said, that they were around Machna Levia, the encampment of the Levites was around the sanctuary. So they safeguarded that the Israelites should not come and come there. Later on, they had the safeguard of the Beis Hamikdash, right? They were responsible for that. But the singing, I don't know. It's definitely not in context over here where that obligation comes. I'm not exactly certain. We need to look into that.
Sure.
Siddur Zachumish. No.
Okay.
I mean, not that I know of, at least. Okay, Vishamitz Mishmate, and they shall keep the charge, his charge. Best Mishmer is Koleida, and the charge of the entire community before the tent of meeting. La'avodas avodas hamishkan, to perform the service of the Mishkan. So Rashi, at least in this context over here, it's guarding, right? And we see over here now he mentions about guarding further, right? The Shamas Mishmartin, shall safeguard the charge. Any appointment which a person has been appointed over, and he has a duty to carry it out. Kori Mishmeris is called a charge or an assignment, or called a guarding, because it comes from the word guard your charge. Mikra throughout Torah. Mishnah, in the language of the Mishnah, my assignment and your assignment are not the same. Similarly, the Mishmeres, the watch of the priesthood and the Levites, it's used in the same sense. Just bringing out that the word means a charge. Okay? Vishavru, and they shall take charge and heed. It's called kleya oil mayit, all of the implements, the vessels of the tent of meeting. Vas mishmeres b'nei Israel, and the charge of the children of Israel, la'avedus avedus hamishkan, to perform the service of the Mishkan. So here it's bringing something else now. There's a charge for the Bnei Israel, right? The previous couple of verses was the charge of the Levites. Now, what's the charge of the Bnei Israel? So Rashi Mishmeres Bnei Israel, the charge of the children of Israel, because they are all charged with tending to the needs of the sanctuary. But the Levites came in their stead, in the agency of the Israelites. Therefore, that's what the Levites would take from the Israelites, tithes. In their payment, Shenemar, as it says, Kischar hu lachem, for this is a wage for you in exchange of your service. Remember, the Levites don't get a land in Israel, right? They don't have land to till. Their job is to do service in the Beis Hamikdash. And in that exchange, they get tithes. 10% of the produce, right, that would go to the Levites, not the Kohanim. The Kohanim would get Truma, which is 2%, right?
How much do Levi get?
10%. Because that's all the Levi got, was that.
Okay.
Kohanim got 24 different kinds of tithes. They got firstborn animals, they got the Truma, right? They got the sacrifices. The Levites didn't get that, so they got many more things. So their charge is being, for the sanctuary, is being done through the Levites. Interesting. Okay, verse number 9. We're good, folks? And Asat is a Leviim, Lara Lavana, and shall give the Levites to Aaron and his sons, Nesunim, given over, meaning wholly given over. Hema, they are loy to him, Neis ben Israel, from the children of Israel. Right? Let's see Rashi. Nesunim Hema, they're given over. La Zora, meaning for assistance. Now, there's not for personal needs, but for assistance in the temple. Right? Me'ez b'nei Israel, from the children of Israel. Kamoi mitei b'nei Israel. In other words, means from amongst the children of Israel, they are the ones that are given over to the Kohanim to be of service to them.
Israelites couldn't do that because they were not able to get close to the temple.
Yeah, Koloimar, that is this to say, Mishar, Kolaida, out of the rest of the assembly, they have been separated for this, because as a decree from God. And awesome, and he gave them to Aaron. Right, he gave them to Aaron. Shenemar, Ve'etna Levim Nesunim, and then I gave over the Levites to be presented.
It wasn't for the sake of the Holy of Holies, it was for the sake for the Israelites.
Huh?
It's for the sake of the Israelites, so that they don't die, but not for the sake of the temple or anything. They were protecting the Israelites from dying.
Right. I'm not exactly clear in the Rashi over here. Like Rashi, what is Rashi saying over? That they are separated, the Levites, is a decree of God. In other words, it's not for a reason. I'm not exactly clear on that because isn't there a reason why they are separated? They weren't involved in the sin of the golden calf. That's why they are taking over the position of the firstborn. Firstborn is supposed to be the kohen, the one who services, right? But they were involved in the sin of the golden calf. So the Levites are now taking their stead. So that's a reason, right? It's not a decree. Decree means beyond reason. So follow my question?
It's one of those mitzvahs you can't explain.
But there is an explanation for it.
Must be a deeper explanation.
No, that's the question. For that question, we need an answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, verse number 10. It's Aaron, Vizbanav, Tifkai, Aaron and his sons, you shall appoint. Tifkai, you shall appoint. Vishamru is the Kuhanasam. So now, till now, we're speaking with the Levites. By the way, Kohanim are part of the tribe of Levi, right? Don't forget that. Because Aaron and Moshe were Levites. Aaron was appointed as the Kohen, right? If anything, that you would say is a decree of God, right? And why should Aaron be the Kohen Gadol? Kohen, right? Why not Moshe?
Oh, good.
Yeah, why is it him and his descendants?
You're
Right.
talking about,
So God said,
you're talking about Aaron.
but Aaron, now there's a Kohanim are from the tribe of Levi, because Aaron is a Kohen. He's a brother of Moshe. Moshe is a Levi. He's a Levi. They're both Levim from the tribe of Levi. He becomes a Kohen. Anyways, whatever.
But his brothers, we had a little bit extra. His brothers.
Okay. So again, there's Aaron, there's Banav. Aaron and his sons, Tifkod, you shall appoint. The Shamu is Kuhanasam, and they shall observe and keep the Kohuna. Vazar Karav Yumas, and any non-Kohen who approaches shall be put to death. Rashi in 10. There's Aaron, there's Banav Tifkod, you shall appoint Aaron and his sons. Lashon Pekida is this expression of appointing ain't a Lashon minyan. It's not an expression of counting. Because the word Pakod is also used for accounting. We had that in the beginning of the Parsha. Right? In the beginning of the Parsha, there was a count of the Israelites. It was the exact same language. But here it doesn't mean count. Here it means to appoint. When you are appointed to something, you are counted. Right? That's a relationship between them. And they shall safeguard the priesthood. What does that mean? Kabbalah's damim. Well, what are they guarding over here? It means receiving a blood of animal slaughter for offerings, with zrikas, and throwing the blood of the offerings on the altar, and setting the specified parts of the offering to be smoked on the altar. This service is given over to the Kahanim. As opposed to like slaughtering the animal, any Jew could do that. I'm talking about slaughtering now an animal that's being brought on the altar, right? Okay. Verse number 11.
So you're saying that anybody from the Israelites cannot slaughter any animal for the service?
Yeah.
Is that specifically in the temple or anywhere?
Well, of course, it's anywhere is for sure. Anybody could slaughter, because you don't have to be. It's not a divine service, right? If you're slaughtering for the holiday to have meat for the holiday, that's not, that's not divine service in the temple, in the sanctuary, right?
Right.
So the fact that you could slaughter it, that's learned out from the verses.
Talking here about the temple. Or not?
Yeah,
Right?
because with the Kohanim, they have a service to do. So it says over here that they have to be appointed and they have to keep their kahuna. So Rashi says, what does it mean to keep their kahuna? Doesn't mean to slaughter, because slaughtering can be done by any Israelite of an offering. But it means, as Rashi says over here, the sprinkling of the blood and the putting of the meat on the altar, that it should be smoked up, whatever goes on the altar. Okay? Yidam Hashem with Moshe Lemar, and Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, Ani hinei lakachti es Levi. Behold, I have taken the Levi mitoy bnei Israel from amongst the Jewish people, the children of Israel. Tachas kol b'chor. Here it is. Right? Here it is. Tachas, in the stead of kol b'chor, of every firstborn, peterechem, that is of the womb, of the opening of the womb, Ibnei Israel, from the children of Israel, and the Levite shall be for me. Rashi, number 12. And behold, I have taken, and I, where do I acquire and that I merit that the Levites are mine, Israel, from amongst the children of Israel, that Israel would hire them, for my service. And where does this come from? But how did I get to the Levites? When really it's the firstborn is the one who has got the special place, right?
What?
So he says, the firstborn, that acquired is mine. I took the Levites in the exchange of the firstborn. The Fisha is because the service had been performed by the firstborn. But when they sinned with the incident of the golden calf, Nifsul became disqualified. But Levim and the Levites that did not participate in the idol worship of the golden calf, they were chosen in their stead. Got it? Something that I just mentioned before.
What does that mean? That instead of taking the firstborn of an Israelite, of all the firstborn, as God took for himself, he took the Levites' firstborn instead.
No.
That would
Right, to do the service.
To do the service.
Right.
Maybe firstborn?
As opposed to
The firstborn.
So
Not the firstborn Levites, all the Levites in the stead of the firstborn. All the Levites in the stead of the firstborn.
Instead of the firstborn of Israelites.
Is that simple? The firstborns were involved in the sin of the golden calf. The Levites were not.
And what happened to
By the way, we learned that in Parshat Kisisa, right?
So the firstborn of the Levites is sort of at a higher level than the other borns of Levites.
No. Why? Oh, you mean because they're firstborn?
There are three Levite sons, two Levite sons surviving.
The fourth son.
I mean, that's not what the verse is saying here. Let's learn Chumash and Rashi. We have to learn. We have to know how to learn Chumash and Rashi, not our own heads. What's swimming in our head? No, but that's called bittul. Put yourself aside, learn what we're learning, and then absorb what we're learning, and then take it from there. But don't start with your absorption, because then you don't learn what we just learned. Then you don't learn what we just learned. What did we just learn?
we learned that, God took the Levites,
Which Levites?
the firstborn Levites.
No. Did it say in the verse, say firstborn Levites? Where it says a Levim. It says, doesn't say Levim abachorim. It says Levim. That's all. It just says Levites. It doesn't say firstborn Levites. It doesn't say that.
The firstborn.
It just says Levim. It doesn't. If it said what you are thinking, then it would say Levim abachorim. Right? It doesn't say Levite firstborn. It says Levites. Period.
Firstborn. So he's taking all the Levites.
Exactly.
Instead of taking the firstborn of the Israelites.
Exactly. In the stead of. Exactly. So again, I want to emphasize.
Make your point.
What's my point?
Don't add commentary.
No, actually, no. Adding commentaries because where your head is. First, where your head should be, then you won't add the commentary. If you are focused and put aside everything else, but focus on what is being said in the verse, then it'll become clear. Then you wouldn't have, then that wouldn't be in your head. But what we're not focused on what it's being said, we're focused in our head. That's right. That's called leaving the baggage at the door.
It will come eventually. If you don't get it right.
We might have questions,
Yeah.
but it'll be question at least based on what we learned, rather than not, Okay, last verse. Ki li kol b'chor b'yoyim ha'kaisi. Now the verse goes further, right? And to explain further this whole idea. Ki li, for me. God saying for me, kol b'chor was all the firstborns. But yoyim ha'kaisi, kol b'chor b'eretz Yisrael. On the day that I smote rather, all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. V'hikdashti li, and they became sanctified to me. Kol b'chor b'Yisrael, all the firstborns of Israel, ma'adam, from not only just man, from humans, but even animals. Li, they are for me. EU, they should be. Ani Hashem, I am God. Right, and now what we're going to have in tomorrow, right, is the count of the Levites. And let me just make sure.
Another
1 month over.
Yeah. And how they are in the stead of.
On the Yom Kippur, the firstborn has to be, they're special because of this. They have to do fast or something.
There's a fast of the firstborn on the eve of Pesach.
Does that have anything to do with it?
Yeah, because exactly what the verse just said. God smote that night the firstborn Egyptian and saved the Jew. Right?
Yeah.
So the Jew became sanctified, just like God killed. Right? There's on the negative side, right? The firstborn, that became a sanctified now, the firstborn Israelite, because he saved them.
Firstborn?
No, that's when it happened.
But I mean, there's no other occasion that because of this, they have to do special services during other holidays. Okay.
What about the Pidya Ben?
Well, Pidyon Aben is a redemption because there still remains an inherent holiness to the firstborn. That's why you have to redeem the firstborn. Right? Well, as we will see, these firstborns also have to be redeemed. And they're redeemed for a Levi. Firstborn for a Levi. Firstborn for a Levi. But that's not, we'll get there.
Firstborn for a Levi.
Yeah, but we'll get there. Well, let's see if there's something here.
Go sleep earlier.
Lisa.
You don't go to sleep.
Huh?
You can't go to sleep.
I don't go to sleep at 10. If I go to sleep at 10, then okay, but my wife and I are like opposite. She's a night owl.
All right, TMI.
Goes to sleep 2, 3 in the morning. And I go to sleep, but she keeps me up, so I end up going to sleep at 11 midnight, and then I'm in trouble because she wakes up late. You know, and she could wake up at 10 or 11. And I, the other end, wake up at 6 or even earlier. So you go to sleep at midnight and wake up at 5:30.
That's the Torah.
You're in trouble, you know.
That's the Torah.
You're my age. You're your age, story.
You want to sleep until you get warm.
Is able to have to down show. It's not.
They're helping her write a report.
Shemalev, this is being heard throughout the world.
Right. Nobody knows me anyway.
Oh, everybody knows you now.
And nobody cares.
Oh, I got big laughs over here.
Every husband help their wife. When they need it, and she needs it, then that's a good thing. Right, sleep.
Let's go now. Okay.
You need,
To be
your
continued.
body needs a certain number of sleep.
All right, folks. We'll see you shortly. Tanya.
Thank you. Bye bye.